Good evening from New York. Today, I'm going to discuss seeking oneness with your brain, the path of the mystic, knowingly or not. I would like to thank again Big Linux and the root of Linux for helping me to present these videos. And all the great Linux channel creators and the wonderful scientific presentations on trauma and the universe. That means so much to me. I've talked a lot about the basic pattern, which I hope some of you may have seen within your own mind's eye. And today I want to discuss just exactly what's going on with a true mystic. A lot of people try to define a mystic as somebody who has paranormal experiences. Well, that may or may not occur, but that's not at the core of it. The core of it is, what they call oneness with God, which is usually some kind of personification of such a concept, which is sometimes called the God-man. I don't know why they don't call it the God-person, because it could easily be a woman, right? Or something in between. But there's humor in everything, people. It's just a very, very surprising world. And more complicated than we would like to think oftentimes. And, we all live in our comfort zone. The mystic tries to get out of that comfort zone in a certain kind of a way. Now, personification of the God concept, well, what are you really, where are you getting all your information from? Your idea of yourself and everything else. Your brain. That's your God man right there, your God person, your God woman. That's it. That's all there is. As far as we know, that's all there is. You can speculate that there's more than that, and that's fine. It's just a free country. This one, anyway. Kind of. But, I guess I'm following after my teacher, the great Honorable, Venerable Dr. Thich Nhat Hanh, who laced everything he said with a bit of humor. Yeah. He was always laughing, and now I kind of know why. Yeah. Because it's quite a conundrum when you try to connect to the absolute truth, as in his case. And, yeah, that, and the personification of it, which for him was the Buddha. One of my teachers under him said that my connection would, he thought his connection was Buddha, but mine would probably be Jesus. And that came kind of close, because my Ishtadevata, seems to have been tracked to my own back history of Christianity. Ishtadevata being your preferred divinity. Sanskrit word. And in near-death experiences, you have a lot of people. It's interpreted through that their experiences is interpreted through their particular background and culture and their belief system. And that's true of the mystic and the mystic experience. It's all about transcending your sense of self, and in Hinduism it's about realizing your real self, which to me, of course, has to be the brain. If anything, it's the brain. And so, that being the case, then those who are on the mystic path are attempting a kind of oneness with that real self, with that brain. You know, just neurologically speaking, I mean, that's the closest thing to a real self you're going to have. But then again, you might say, oh, self is an illusion that we create from information from the brain, but it's the brain who's making the conclusion. So, and creating the image. That's why a lot of times when you hear me talking about the mystic path, I'm talking about the personification of the brain, of the ultimate reality, which the closest you're going to get is your brain, right? And the brain sees things in a survival kind of way, so it can be fooled. But you know, there's delusions that we have because of how our brain functions. That's true too. And in a sense, we have many selves which we unite together into a singular one. But that's kind of interesting because when you transcend your sense of the illusion of self in terms of a self-object kind of perspective, like there's me seeing everything else, when you do that, some of the experiences people have is that they could be almost anything. You know, the Hindu god at play, appearing to you as you need to see him or her. Radha Krishna. Get a wife, what do you know? Yeah, anthropomorphism. And that's funny. Also, you know, people experience no self at all, which is the Buddhist kind of perspective of there not being a permanent, unchanging self that's experiencing everything and lives forever and so on. There were two illnesses that the Buddha talked about, and that was that illusion and the illusion that there's, if not that, then there's this big self that is the eternal one that we're going to join up with. All of that you can see, and you know, it's with that sounds like Christianity a little bit, where Jesus says, you know, I pray that they will be one with me as I'm one with you. And we're all one together. All is one. As the joke goes, where the monk asks for a hot dog, and he, of course, a vegetarian one, of course. Uh, he wants it made, asked him how he wanted the hot dog, and says, make me one with everything. So, kind of a weird version of an old dad joke type. Yeah, sorry about that. All you smart young people. Yeah, remember, we gave birth to you. Anyway, remember your roots. Yeah. Your roots are people who, like me, who oftentimes who just aren't ready for this, some of these things in the new world. But we hope our kids will be. Seeking oneness. Yeah. But that's what it is with the mystic path. You're seeking oneness with ultimate reality, God, whatever you want to call it. But actually you're personifying it, I have a personal relationship with Jesus, That's my personal Savior. Yeah. Yeah. And I have a relationship with the Buddha the Buddha nature which lives in me, Or Krishna is in my heart. Yeah, okie dokie. All clearly understandable. Nothing wrong with it, we all live in a kind of illusion of sorts. Free will is an illusion, by the way. So, maybe if you're one with the brain, well, you're going to personify it, which is an illusion. But an attempt to join with it. That's the handy-cam thing to do. As it pointed out in the Bhagavad Gita, the impersonal approach is a whole lot harder. Yeah, I think it is. So anyway, when you approach it in this personal kind of way, it can be life-changing, and many people in religions report a change in their life. This personification that you attempt to be one with is a part of you that is a perspective above your experienced past, present, future timeline. That is the story of your life as you experience it, and time itself might be a bit of an illusion. But we experience that, and in the mythology that I promote in the practice, the artist in you, that personification, the absolute personification of the brain, the imaginer of your imaginations, the creator, reaches into your future with a comforting perspective, safe spot from which to guide you into the future, and reaches into the past as all the love you've known, the caregiver, to guide you into making sense and dealing with, helping you to be aware of the experiences you've had in the past, both good and bad, and helping you to deal with them appropriately, and integrating these events into your life. And the kid in you, that's the mystic seeking to be one with your brain, experiences these three communications. And you can do that in a practice which I've delineated earlier, my particular approach to it. This is all my distribution of inner mind communication. Use it as it best suits you. But there's a deeper level for the mystic. It's the non-verbal, in which we do experience kind of no self, everything self, one with everything self. Yeah, should I say anything self. And yeah, and when you have the mystic practices three things in regard to the sensations and things they meditate upon. These sensations, feelings, and so on are part of the dramatic life that you have related to need. Everything in the process I'm talking about relates to need. A mystic is not free of it. A mystic relates to need and to the love flow, which is meeting need and appreciating receiving need. It's the total bag, the whole total experience. You know, if someone gives unto you, give unto others. Keep the love flow. And, you know, in that way, you see, even with children, the children return a lot of gifts to the parent, even though the parent is the caregiver, the giver of love. The child returns and echoes that love. And that's a beautiful experience. And as parents, you treasure that, you know, you do. And who are your kids? Well, anybody you adopt. When you get older, what is the goal of a mystic when they get older? Well, when you're at the end of life, you know, you're in grandparent age, and from there you get a greater sense of wisdom, and everybody's a kid, just about, you know, except your peers. Now maybe everybody is a kid or a little brother or sister, etc. So you go into the role of grandparent, and as the mystic seeks that oneness with the brain and that wisdom that comes from it, they are more and more not just the grandparents of their own children's children, but the grandparents of the world and all children. The sense of self grows. That's spiritual growth. Growth in empathies and awareness. The empathies support love. So in the process of joining with your brain, you're dealing with the drama associated with human need. Now, I've just mentioned, and the non-verbal practices of the mystic, which shatter a lot of the self-illusions, you know, the idea that you have a self, or yourself is everything, or yourself could be anything. That kind of infantile perspective is lacking a rigid sense of self-concept. It's lacking that. It has those perspectives, and that's how a baby sees the world, you know, at first. And the infant mind is something that the mystic has to deal with in their life. And the infant mind is in the infant mind, you find the roots of the three forms of empathy that I talk about. The infant mind, it has the ability to be at play with feeling and sensation, to be focused on sensation and feeling, and to express sensation and feeling. That's vital for the infant. And focus develops in social contexts into objectivity. It develops play develops into the creative ability to create play and imagination in social contexts, looking at things from many perspectives and not just your own, and caring about it. That produces a kind of artfulness, the root of the virtue of art, whereas objectivity is the root of truth. And the ability of the infant to express feelings and sensations develops in social influence into compassionate empathy. Compassion allows a safe place to feel. And so the expression of needs and feelings is aided by this social development perspective called compassion. And from that you get goodness. So the journey of the mystic toward oneness with the brain, or the artist or higher self, is also a connection to these virtues, which grow a sense of trust or faith, call it a spiritual faith, in these kind of virtues. And that's a truly healthy society, has all these virtues, all of these perspectives working together and growing trust. And trust is what trade depends upon. Fair trade, which is the only free trade, really. Free to enter and to participate. This is core to any society. It grows the trust. And trust is very important in trade, like I said. So, is the mystic a political activist? Of course. True mystic in their later age is certainly an activist. And a lot of times, since the early 30s, they are activists. And sometimes even earlier. But definitely it goes that way. You can't increase the flow of love, which builds the trust, which builds the virtues and connects you more to that transcendent brain perspective, without being engaged socially. So the mystic is not just somebody sitting on the mountaintop going, I see it all. No. I see it all and nothing left to be said. No, not at all. You got to keep the love going. It means you're still in the drama. You're going to be in the drama until you die. And some people say you're still in it after that. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's okay to say you don't know. And a true mystic, has to be a bit of a scientist. You know, especially as they grow, because of all of these realizations that I'm talking about. You know, it's like, got to be objective. compassionate and creative, and these are hallmarks of a good scientist that tries to, and engineers who try to bring physics to life. But all of these things, it's that's why I say a scientist is probably one of the best mystics. If you're looking at it as someone who truly appreciates mystery. What's it? How are you going to appreciate mystery if you have no understanding of anything? It's like you got to have some understanding of some things, and then you can really appreciate what you don't know and just how much you don't know too. So that's the path of a mystic. It's scientific, it's political, it's social, it's individual. And now back again to the infant mind. These three focuses are approached in the three basic yogas, the Vedic yogas, which utilize breath, sound, and focus. And focus is dhyana yoga. And so you focus on you in this inner mind communication distribution. You're focusing on your feelings and sensations, which relate to your needs. These are messages about what do I do next? What are my needs? And rush of dopamine there, I think, maybe. There's that focus, and they need to be able to do that, and that's dhyana yoga. And mantra yoga is the use of sound, usually using mantras which you repeat over and over again until, guess what, the words have no more meaning. So you drop out of language into the infant mind. But you're using it in inner mind communication approach. You're using it in regard to how you feel and what you're sensing. And an example of that might be, if you take it to the language level, be singing the blues, just pure music. It will be playing music that might be associated with a strong feeling like the blues. Any kind of music, in fact, triggers feelings. So, I use the ability to be at play with these sensations and moods and feelings, and not just a verbal created sound way, but in a more musical way, which the Pentecostals do with their perceived speaking in another tongue. Well, I don't know I think the evidence is not backing them up on that, but it's a useful practice, being objective with it. And people have reported life changes with just any of these practices that I talk about. I say you put them all together, see the big picture. Now, the expression of feeling is your breath is the closest thing to, how you feel, especially without language. You notice people's breathing changes with their mood and how they're feeling. So prana yoga, the use of breath, is very useful in expression, the ability to express feeling. In this case, feeling without using words. Words can be a hindrance sometimes. But all of these perspectives added together is the path of the mystic. And the mystic is trying to be one with the brain. So all of this stuff is occurring in your brain. So you see the verse in the Bhagavad Gita, and the one who's close to me, the mystic Krishna is saying, is closest to me is one who sees me and everything in me. Well, what you see is what your brain presents to you. Right? And all that is presented to you is within your brain. Just be objective. Okay? Kind of a funny coincidence if that doesn't have a real connection, and of course it does. So anyway, you hear me talk about being an objective mystic. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Being objective with these things. So I'm hoping that you liked this video. You understand a little more about inner mind communication or mind distribution of it, and that you see that I bring a lot of things together. I don't leave things hanging. Each of the 6 things that I talk about is ways of getting closer to an integrated experience in life, life that appreciates more and helps more with the love flow, both within themselves and in society. This mystic path, this rational mystic path, the big picture of it is what I present. And each of these things, as I was saying, there are a lot of things that are done that are one of these things. What I'm doing, grow, learn all of them, do all of these things. And the intensity of the impact is important to understand, and you've got to understand you've got to stay in your comfort zone. You don't want to be freaked out. That isn't growth, that's re-traumatizing yourself. You just want to expand that comfort zone and be able to unlearn feelings of helplessness around the ability to feel, to express, and to be at play with your feelings and sensations, and to therefore also be able to achieve your virtues, your forms of empathy, creative, objective, and compassionate. Okay, as I like to end all of these presentations, I like to use the word namaste, because to say that word, a word from India, from its rich culture and heritage, not that the whole world doesn't have rich culture and heritage, India is remarkable. Anyway, the word is namaste. And when I say namaste to you, I'm saying it from a position of connection to the love flow, the potential of it, you know, the Buddha nature inside me. That is also a perspective in me in which I am one. I sense that I'm one with the universe, and the universe is one inside me. And I am honoring that same in you, that wondrous, miraculous, mysterious brain that is your connection to the very mysterious universe. That part of me would like to give honor to that part of you, including us both in the love flow. This real way that we grow spirituality in ourselves and in society. So, namaste. And have a good evening, y'all, and a good, whatever time of day it is that you are in. Have a good one.